Okay, so what we're looking at right now is adding floors to our model. So we're at the point here in our model where if we just take a look at the 3D view, we have our foundation drawn, we have our footings done. And the next step for this model is to start adding floors. And we'll start with the floor for the main floor. And what we're really adding is a structural floor at this point. We'll start with the structural floor. And then at a later point, we're going to come in and we're going to add the finished flooring. So finished flooring is things like your carpets, your tiles, and hardwood. Okay. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the floor icon. And in the properties window, we have some choices. And the one we're going to choose is called wood joist 12 inch. So that means the thickness of this floor is really based largely and almost mostly on the width of the joists. Okay, so when it says 12 inch, it means those joists are 12 inches wide. So we're going to click on that and we can zoom in on our main floor. And the tool that is the handiest for doing this, and there's different ways you can draw a line wherever your floor is going to go. But this pick walls tool seems to have some built-in features and actually places the floor underneath the structure of the wall, which is how a house is built, and that's how we want to make our design. So the floor goes kind of right underneath the wall, and the wall again is made of 2x6s, so these wooden studs, this wooden frame, actually sits on top of your floor. Okay. So to get going, we have clicked the pick walls, and now we just simply have to select walls. Now we do want to be careful that we are going to the right point, the correct point in the wall. And we want our floor, like I said, to extend to be underneath the framing. So if I just move my cursor away, you can see that purple line. That's the edge of the floor. And this piece here where my cursor is hovering is the framing. So we can see by the position of that purple line that it is underneath the wall. And that's what we want. If it wasn't, we can use this flip arrow. Okay. And that would just flip it from one side to the other of the wall structure. The other thing you want to make sure you do is have this box extend into wall clicked. And we also want to come in and change this height offset to 0. So I'm just going to punch in 0 and hit enter. I could hit apply, or I could just click out here in space. Either way works. Once I've done that, I can start going around the perimeter of my main floor, and I'm just clicking on the walls. Inventor is smart enough to know that once I flipped where my floor goes to in terms of being beneath the wall or up to the wall, once I've done that once, it's going to do it on every wall. Okay, so you're just going to continue around and just keep going all the way around this perimeter. Sooner or later, you'll get to the point where I am here, where you have a closed loop. In order for the floor to build, it needs to be a totally closed loop. So there should be no gap in your purple perimeter line. Once you've done that, you'll simply come to the green check mark and say that you're finished with the edit mode. You will get this dialog box and you'll just click yes. You're okay with these overlaps taking place. And your model looks something like this. Not really any different, right? But when you click on the 3D view, what you should see is a floor. Okay, so before this was open, it was open right to the basement and actually down through the basement. So now we have what we would call our subfloor there. Okay, and this is where we're going to add our finished floor on top of later. Next, we need to add a floor to the basement. Okay, if we take a look at the basement right now, it's wide open. It's just like a big open cavity. So we're going to go ahead and put a floor there as well. So to do that, I'm going to get my floor plan for the basement. I'm going to double click that. And here is my foundation wall. This is a finished foundation wall. You might be working with a foundation wall that is just concrete, so it will kind of look like this area here where my cursor is. That's representation of concrete, and it won't have these additional lines that show that that wall has a finish on it. Either way, the process is the same. So we're going to go again to floor, and this time instead of selecting the wood joist, we're going to do 4-inch concrete. Okay, so it's a concrete floor on the bottom of your basement. And after we click that tool, again, we want to make sure that we are extending into the wall to the core and that we have a height offset that's 0. Okay, so check those two things. And then you can start picking your walls. And we're going to click on the walls. So now here, if we look at our flip button, it is possible to put the floor right under the foundation wall, but in the sense of the basement, that wouldn't be right. The floor is only going to go up to the foundation wall. When we think about how the foundation is constructed, what is it resting on? It's actually resting on footings, so not on the concrete 4-inch floor. Okay. Once I've got my direction set here, I can just go around, follow the same process as we used for the main floor, and we're just selecting the walls to make a closed loop of a purple perimeter line. Once we have it, we're going to click the green check mark. And again, same dialog box pops up. We're just going to say yes, we're happy with that. If we take a look at the 3D view, what we should see if we orbit around and look at the bottom, we should see that there's a floor in there. Okay, so you can see it now. It's got that aggregate stone kind of filling in there, and that's our floor. If you wanted to make sure, what you could do is you can always hide elements in here. In fact, once you click on it, it almost gets transparent. It's like a blue transparent. If you wanted to go ahead and get rid of it, you could right click and in your pop-up menu, go to hide in view and hide elements. Okay, so the wall goes away, and now you can actually see what's going on down there in the basement. Okay, so that's it for now, and we will see you on the next video.